Win Monday Nation. What is going on? This is the latest episode of Paul's Take inside of the Win Monday podcast, as we are on the heels of a fire conversation with my guy, Marcus Collius. If you have not heard that conversation, let's just say we kick off with how exactly and what drove it and what was the deeper mission on how he took a company from $0 to $170 million. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It was very human-centered, very purpose-centered, very impact-centered, very legacy-centered. So please go back and listen to it if you have not enjoyed it just yet. But today's take is something that Marcus inspired about. You've heard me talk about the why. I was known as the why coach of the San Francisco 49ers. I love and admire, and I'm also an advisor to the Why Institute. And Gary Sanchez has been a proud guest, CEO of the Why Institute. He's been a guest of our podcast. So we are all in on the why, but it's a bit of a mysterious thing. This thing called purpose. Is it a distant North Star? What is my why? How do I find my why? How do I put it in action? All of those things are very, very natural. Marcus simplified it. And this is a process. In actuality, it's two questions and two questions only to unyield and uncover and reveal our deeper why. The first is, what lights you up? What lights you up? And here's a different spin on it. Instead of just thinking about your passion and the things that energize and excite you, and if you know that, hell yes, pull out a pen, pull out a notepad, and write those things down right now. But another way to think about that too is, thanks to Jay Ferrugia, who's been on the show before, he said, there's a million things that I love. So instead of asking myself, what do I love to do? He asked himself, what do I hate not doing? So in this case, I would say the opposite of what lights you up is what drains your energy. And that's an interesting piece. What do you hate not doing? And that can kind of be this interesting 180, if you will. Okay, so question one, what lights you up? Awesome. Now, question two, and pardon my French on this one. I don't even know if we're going to get in trouble, but let's go with it anyways. What pisses you off? There is a trigger in there. There is something that not only drains you and depletes you, but it upsets you. Is there something that's happening out in the world? Is there something that when a person shows up with this quality, it repels you? You say, I'm done with that person. You probably say stronger things than that. And I can tell you, I know exactly what it is. So instead of just talking about what lights me up, let me talk to you about what pisses me off. What really, really irks me and gets under my skin is, as somebody that has a core value of authenticity, and I have had different chapters in my life where I showed up 1,000,000% authentic, and then I had two versions of Paul, a work version and a personal version, and that's impossible. You can't be true in both of them. And so when I married the two to become one, that was me at my purest and most consistent and most authentic version of myself. But people that lack this quality, because I know that I've sold out in my past for a corporate goal or for climbing a ladder or whatever it is. And sometimes I had to go against some things that were near and dear to me, but I did it because I felt like I was just playing a bigger game. And I massively have regrets about that. I wouldn't be who I am today without it, but I also know that that was not me at my best. So they always say your core values, which is very much connected to your why. It's really your central DNA, your central compass. They say your core values are what light you up, and when they're violated, it triggers you. So when people don't show up authentic, which authenticity is a core value, oh my goodness, I struggle not only in the moment, I struggle to recover. I often don't give that. It's my kryptonite. I don't give that person a second chance. And you could say, oh, that's too harsh. That's too, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But if I smell fakeness, if I smell superficial, if I smell a lack of authenticity, you're toast. So I understand what pisses me off. And my wife hears all about it, and my inner circle knows about it. I just want to be very open and candid with you about that's the raw reality. So for you, what pisses you off? What do other people do that triggers you? What's happening in the world that you just can't stand and you want to be on a mission of positive change to reverse that, to do better, to do different, to leave your mark, to make a difference? And that's where we're going to land the plane for today's Paul's Take. The two questions that Marcus Collius introduced us to. to unyield and uncover and reveal that deeper why. Number one, what lights you up? Number two, what pisses you off? Cheers to answering those two questions, and cheers to a more purposeful life ahead. That's it for Paul's Take. Thank you so much for tuning into the Win Monday podcast. We'll see you next week.